Okay, I'm going to talk about a couple of new features, or one new feature. So, seed, I changed the way the random number works. If you type 0, it puts it in a timer mode, and if you type something non-zero, it's not a timer. So, like if we go to games and do bomber golf, this is random. Each time we start up this, each time we start up bomber golf, it's a totally different scenario. Like watch. Okay, so if you say seed, let's say 1, and then start up bomber golf. Now look, there's 2 tanks. You see those 2 tanks? Watch for those. Now if we do a directory, if we say seed 1, then we do bomber golf. Again, 2 tanks. So this is a way you can play the same game over and over. So normally it's in timer mode, which means what timer mode is where in timer mode it modifies the seed with the timestamp count. So normally it's not not repeatable. Normally it's not repeatable, but if you say seed 2 or 1 or any number anyway, then you can play certain fixed games. Now the other thing I was going to talk about is recompiling the kernel. Mine is a little different from yours. I put mine on D and E. If we do a partition rep, drive rep, I guess is what it's called now. I have D and E. I start with D. The standard distribution starts with C and D. It's kind of a long story. I used to have I used to run natively with a Windows drive, and so I would set it up for D and E. I could change it, I guess. But anyway, so when you say make OS install boot, and if I say D, now for me I have to enter, this is what it's going to be, so mine is going to be D again. Now I want to do drive, you want to do C, and you want to type C, but I'm going to type D, and then I say ATA. Now you can probe. Okay, so you can either enter the port number like 070 for the ATA or 0170, or there's a quick way. It's smart enough to recognize that a little tiny number is if it's under 10 or something like that, then it's not a port number. So we want to hit enter, startup account. Now the funny thing is mine. I have a company directory, and then I have individual directory. You don't have that. So now we want disk cache. I always hit enter. And if you want to, you can play with these options. Anyway, so that's what it just did, is it just recompiled, and then it wrote to the boot sector. It modified the partition boot sector so that it points to the new kernel.bin file. You can't do a make without modifying. Don't do a make without modifying the boot record. Anyway, otherwise it won't know where the new kernel is. So I have a one mouse click, one click script. Technically, I guess so I make a RAM drive B. I scale the RAM drive to the amount of memory. I make, I guess I scale the disk cache. Then I do that auto mount. I don't even remember what that is. But anyway, sometimes I used to have real drives as well as VMware drives. Anyway, so, well, you can, now you also want to learn about master boot install. This makes me nervous. You have to enter the partition that you want it to store the master boot loader on. Everybody else puts it in the gap between sector 0 and 3F. I put my boot record into the partition. So that means if the partition gets reformatted, you lose your bootloader, which is bad. You just have to make sure to reinstall the bootloader if you mess with the partition. So anyway.